Okay, the bike's still a little cold. Happy Sunday. May 24th or 25th, somewhere in there. It's a little bit of a blur. Welcome to the Sermon from the Saddle. Probably my second official attempt. This will be a pretty, oh jeez. What the hell that was. There we go. Getting her done. The gear oil is still a bit cold, and I took off a little bit, or I should have let the bike warm up a little more. So I'm sorry, Lord. Oh, I've engaged in a small amount of Harley abuse already this morning, on a Sunday no less. But I need to give the bike a good run. It's a short weekend. We don't get a long weekend, and I'm such a spoiled little you-know-what that, you know, I feel ripped off when I don't get a long weekend now. I don't know, man. I don't get much joy in life. Obviously, riding, this thing, is one of them. I'm not even going to signal because I'm that guy. Woo, baby. But before I stop and do what I got to do today, I really need to just give this baby a haul. I didn't do anything yesterday. Needed a full day off. Again, I'm not complaining, but I've managed to somehow put in a couple of pretty solid weeks of work, which has helped because, not to get into my details, but I have paid a couple of huge bills recently. Anybody that owns a crappy condo anywhere near the city understands what our bills are like. Oh, it's stupid. Stuff they don't tell you when you're a first timer like I was, like 6 years ago. I honestly just need to time it. I just need to hold on for a couple more years, make a graceful exit. But I don't know, man. Spiritual warfare. So, in keeping with a little bit of a sermon from the saddle, and I'm just kind of letting it fly, I will tell you I'm a little bit stalled on two things. We'll get to the scripture part, references. I'm not going to start memorizing huge tracts. I'll do a proper Bible study soon from the laptop with all my references up there, and I'll actually read from the Bible. But these types of sermons are, I guess, integrating. It gives me a chance to integrate stuff that has been integrating. Well, you know, just sort of rolling over in my brain, a week or two after I read it. So I have started the book of Job. So those of you who have even watched anything I've done, I've been reading through from the Old Testament, Judges, all through the Chronicles, books of the Scroll of Samuel, the Kings, first and second, all that. And now I'm all the way up to Job. Woo! And I'm hauling it. Anyway, up to Job, and I have read the entire Bible at some point, all the way through in my life, probably more than once. I remember one very important year. But the book of Job is not that long, and I do have a pretty good recollection of the basic idea, even though this time I'm going through in a more detailed way. Yeah, we're still rolling. See, this is how bad a cameraman I am. I forget that it's even on. But right off the bat, like, it starts off, there was a man named Job from the land of Ur. And, okay, right away your head goes, that sounds like a made-up place. You know, it really does. It doesn't even sound like a real place. That guy was nice enough, eh? Like, he just made it real clear he was moving over for me. Normally I would block that. But honestly, there's lots of room here. I don't know how he made eye contact in my rear view, but I totally saw he was being careful. So I let it happen. I let that guy lane split, basically, with his car. Okay, here we go. So, the book of Job, the setting and the timing of Job, it's one of the wisdom books. So, you can Google that. I think there's 3 wisdom books. One of my other favorites, Ecclesiastes, is what this car guy is doing, but waiting for that person. This person better see me. Okay. That's how cautious you gotta be. Like, I'm pretty sure they saw me, but I was ready for anything there. I was ready to sort of Okay, Book of Job is set, I think, it's a story that is somehow placed where it is in the Bible. However, Job, I think, actually lived in Moses' time. So that somewhere during the time of Moses. So perhaps during the years in the wilderness, I don't know. But it's an older story that finally gets placed where it is. It's really powerful. Job, it seems like a very godly person. He's got a family and everything. And the basic theme for me somehow is that God is breaking Job so that he can use him specifically in his own way. It's pretty, I don't want to say frustrating, but for me, it's like I've had a pretty bad hand in life and I've somehow made it this far. So I was driven to God and Jesus and really studying the Bible more because I couldn't really explain how I was making it. You know, it was like really, just when I think everything's going to unravel, sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, wow, do I ever get a few weird blessings? Like the weirdest people will step up and protect me right at a time when it's critical. Meanwhile, for months I've taken a shellacking from some idiot, right? So it's weird that things like that happen. So we do battle every day with respect to spiritual warfare. Some people just don't know it because they're not really, they're not studying ministry type courses the way I am online. Ooh, I'm going to slow down even though it's not a school day. I need to kind of be more of an example here. Normally I would cut the camera, but there's nobody around. I don't really need to. It's just a dash cam that I rant into, right? So the book of Job, he ends up really suffering, and it's this interplay between the devil and God. So the devil kind of speaks to God in the beginning, and he talks about Job, and, consider Job, blah, blah. And it's really an interesting situation where it's like he throws down a challenge. So there's this idea of a challenge. And I guess Job was supposed to start cursing God and denying his God and, really blaming and what a lot of people do when their life doesn't work out. But that's just if you believe in God, then you got to take the whole Bible. There's also a devil, a fallen angel. There's also a lake of fire. You know what I'm saying? So if you go around beacon off that you love the baby Jesus and Jesus is my savior and all that kind of stuff, like an evangelist, then you also believe in the devil. So, a little bit of a shock to most Christians. We're at war. Not just regular war with people, but we're at war with the devil, El Diablo. Woo! Ooh, we'll do an edit here. El Diablo. Car, 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 car. Keep it simple, stupid. Do not crash. So poor Job, I won't be like a whole spoiler guy, but Job hangs tough, but he curses himself. He wishes for death, contemplates offing himself. And some friends come to his rescue and they petition him and try to talk some sense into him. And it's all about Job's trial and tribulations. So, I don't know. It is kind of hits like I want to complain about my life, but as much as I think I've suffered, I've never gone through what Job went through. Not quite. But I do understand this idea that you've gone through so much pain that when some jackass attacks you yet again, you're just like, really? Really? After 55 years of, this amounting to just abuse, it's really hard to not feel a bit like Job in today's incredibly hateful society. We think we've come so far with respect to, human rights and all that kind of stuff. But in many ways, we haven't. So, not really going to get specific, but those of you who know me know how much I struggle. And, it's not fun being me. Unless you're on the Harley, then it's cool. I'm the happiest I've ever been, kind of thing. Even in a truck rut like this. Well, we're just cruising. We're in North Delta. I'm going to do a quick run at highway speed. Because that's what the bike wants. That's what I want. There we go. But knowing that the suffering of Job far outweighs what I've been through so far, even though, I feel you, dog. I feel you. God will test us. If he's going to use you, you will be polished by pain like a sword. And nobody's more grumpy about that than me, because I could have had everything. I could have been the prodigal son that returned home, or didn't have to return home because they can send me a bank transfer. But nobody ever sent me that big bank transfer. Never got that. Didn't get that memo. I should probably signal. Double check I'm not screwing up. Rusty but trusty. This bike fired up good, so I'm going to give her some respect. She's been sitting for a full 6 or 7 days. But it hasn't been super cold, so I still had a bit of juice in the battery. Hallelujah. So very simple. And I am getting behind in my course. I'm doing a ministry communications course as part of my Bible college stuff online. And I wanted to go to church today, like physical church. And then I realized it's actually a way for me to procrastinate and not do my course. Which I have a deadline looming to cover all the material. It's easy, but it's not that easy, right? I've got to get through this stuff. So, yikes. Let's see what she's got here. I'm going to get her up into the topic. I think, yeah. Just need to hold steady. I will move over, but I want to give people a chance to whip around me because they don't wait for me to do this safely at this speed. There we go. Signal. Get the shield all the way down. I got a dirty visor. We're currently riding a dirty old 17-year-old Nightster. She should have almost a full tank of gas. Pretty rock stable. I don't know, I'm at 80, I think. Yeah, just cruising the speed limit. I don't need to be a big show off. Get back off the throttle. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go a few blocks like this. I don't want to go to Cloverdale yet. Just a few blocks and then we'll make a lefty. Lugging. I should have geared down the fourth. There we go, she's picking her up. Listening to the bike. Do that. There we go, down in the fourth. Listen to her chug along. Happy girl. Oh, getting that fresh exhaust mixed with air. So the book of Job from the land of Ur. I had to look up, where is this Ur? I mean, really, it sounds like a made-up place. But this is the context of the old school guy Job coming to the forefront and placed in these in this section. I was winding her out and forth a little bit there. Woo! Yeah, it's one of the better hauls I've done in a while for this poor bike. There we go. We just tuck over there. Down nicely. Nice. That was a fun little rip. I'd love to go out to like White Rock and do all the tourist stuff, but I have had no breakfast. I've been fasting and praying all morning. Or not all morning, but it's like 10 after 8, dude. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to get my ride in. Because in a couple hours, these roads will be just chock-a-block full of cars and trucks. Half of my community doesn't really believe in Sunday. So people go to work today too. Around here anyway. Now, yeah, this is a little crazy left turn. Look at this. Look at the turn I'm doing. I've never done this turn like this. But there's a left arrow, so I'm allowed. That was crazy. That was a hard left. Woo, baby. All right. Yeah, I'm running the camera a lot on this ride. This is it's supposed to be our first really kind of hot and muggy day. So yeah, it's going to feel brutal later. I'll not want to be doing much later, other than maybe studying at the laptop. that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this done. Give the bike what she needs. Just a nice long charge of the battery. Getting her all lubed up. Getting my head lubed up. Keeping my mental framework. And being disciplined. Like, how dare I use going to church as a way to not study what I'm supposed to be studying. Ugh, commitment. So I think I'm making the right choice just to get this done. Scott Road, yeah, I think I'll just go directly to go. Collect $200. Okay, time for a motorcycle meme. If you give a man a fish, he will eat fish for a day. Sounds cool, right? But if you give a man a motorcycle, he'll eat fish and chips 140 kilometers away. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm really adorable. Hard to be me. Okay. There you go. A look at the main drag coming down the hill here. It's a good view, actually. The main drag, commercial area. Get out of the way of the bus. Okay, good. I need to relax. I'm getting all like keyed up here because I've had just too much coffee and no food. So, warning, do not try this at home. Yo, it's quite the area. So many wealthy people. I'm giving her. Like the houses in the blocks just behind all this strip here, yeah, really good. Like big houses, decent sized lots. These people got the kind of money I'll never see. They can afford a Sportster S. 5, 4, 3. Hey! Hey! What's that? Bleep! Can't believe I got to the horn quick enough. Normally I'm epic fail on the thumb horn. Not like these Nintendo junkies. I love Nintendo. I just don't play like a young person anymore. I like it. I have GameCube emulator on free software, Linux, because I can't afford anything. I did meet a Windows, C#.net programmer the other day, like online. He tried to get me into his project, knowing I had done some real old school C language back in the day. My background is in mathematics and applied physics. I know, I don't look the type. But anyway, through that, I got into kind of scientific niche programming. So I'm not really a programmer, but if you give me like a data problem or a calculus problem, I could probably write computer code to do it. So, yeah. Not really that useful in the real world. But it's fun and it's cool. It impresses your coder buddies. But I don't know how many real applications I can get hooked up to with that. So generally, if I write code, I let it go for free. I don't try to make money on it. So I've done that a little bit. People do use it, and then they modify it. Maybe send me a like, hey, thanks. That saved me some time. Alright, here we go. I'm stuck. stopping in front of an ambulance thingy. Saw that guy coming up quick behind me. I would have got plowed if I tried to do a radical go around. So I thought, no, I'm just gonna sit here like a dumbass. There you go. You gotta be pretty close to be 2 up on a little sport bike. So they're a couple. Channeling my inner cholo. I'm too old to be a pachuco. I'm definitely a cholo. Well, as cholo as a white guy from Canada can be. Oh my goodness. What a freaking wannabe. Weekend warrior. Hear my motorcycle, hear me roar. Honestly, I'm just starting to hate cars. You know what I'm saying? Riding this thing makes me hate cars. Cars just don't have any style. God, it's gonna get hot out here. This was a good call. Just doing the stuff and then getting my butt off of these hot roads. She's air cooled. This is the most demanding mistress I've ever had, getting me up early on a Sunday. Yeah, baby. I'm racing the Prius. I'm gonna kick this Prius's ass. I'm going to avoid McDonald's very wisely. It's starting to get smoother now that I've been riding for a bit. Good. That was a nice stop. Place isn't really empty, but it's going to work for me because I don't like people really. Well, sometimes. I enjoyed the bike there, not a bike. I enjoyed the car show that I rode through last week. I still have that footage. I don't know if I'm going to post it. Okay, not even looking. People make me angry. Okay, I got $90 worth of food packed on this thing. Here we go. Yep, I got my my silver chain on with my cross, shirt open. Literally got up and put on the sluttiest outfit I own. All right. Yep. I'm old and I'm smooth, baby.